Disrespect often arrives in plain clothes. It looks like a casual, quick call that overruns, a tiny tweak that rewrites scope, a late payment framed as processing delays, or a public message that blames you for someone else's drift. The weak response is to argue about tone or chase approval. The strong response is to replace their mood with your map. Power is the ability to make the room interact with you on your terms. You don't shout. You don't plead. You route everything into a simple method that repeats under pressure. Start by separating signal from noise. Noise is the jab, the sigh, the delay, the flurry of messages outside work hours. Signal is what must ship, by what date, and where it will live. When someone disrespects you, move the thread to outcomes. Deliverable lands. Wednesday 16th, row. Files in the shared folder. Revision window closes Friday. This resets the field. They can keep performing emotion. You keep producing results. Most disrespect loses energy when it collides with dates and locations. Now install reply windows. Disrespect thrives in immediate access because instant replies teach people that your calendar is theirs. Choose 2 or 3 daily windows and live by them. You do not explain each time. You demonstrate. Messages that arrive at midnight get processed at noon. Demands for now get a link to the calendar or the premium tier. After several cycles, even difficult personalities adjust because urgency without reward dies quickly. Reply windows are not about being slow. They're about being sovereign. Your brain becomes harder to hijack, and your work improves because you are deciding, not reacting. Add the one-pass reset. When a relationship has decayed, chaotic calls, blurred scope, unpaid extras, you do not drip out corrections across 10 messages. You make one clean cut in writing. From today, calls 2 through inside 30 minutes, changes only in the doc, 2 revisions per deliverable, extras in a second block at a later date and higher price, work pauses on late invoice. Then you behave as if the policy always existed. People protest briefly, then adapt or leave. Either path increases respect because a steady system beats a needy personality. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose between them." Read that as predictable consequences over performative niceness. If people can violate your boundary without a cost, they will. If they know that late payment pauses work, that off-window calls move to the calendar, and that scope creep triggers a second-priced block, they step more carefully. You are not cruel, you are legible. Legibility is the spine of authority. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Affirmation: I replace disrespect with dates, folders, and terms. Next, build a corridor. A corridor is the fixed route every request must take. Updates live in DMs. Edits live in the doc. Files live in the folder. Calls live on the calendar. Money lives on the invoice. Disrespect loves cross-channel chaos because it lets people claim, "I told you on the call," or "it was in my voice note." You don't argue memory. You route. Please add the change in the doc, I'll review in the window. The second time they skip the corridor, you start the ladder. Reminder, reduced access, pause, clean exit. The ladder is not a threat. It's a visible staircase back to order. Pricing is also a boundary. Undervaluing yourself trains the room to treat you like clearance rack inventory. Grab more, pay less, and ask for favors. Correct this by linking price to access and speed. The base tier buys outcomes with replies in the window. The premium tier buys faster replies and a weekly call. Rush and weekend handling exist, but by exception and at a rate that protects your focus. Extras never slide under the door. They move to a second block at a later date and a higher price. When you enforce this without heat, you swap argument for logistics. Logistics earn respect because they pay invoices and protect calendars. Appearance amplifies power. Disrespect targets what looks movable. Sloppy files, wandering calls, vague promises. Make your visible basics ruthless. Date every file name. Put the latest version in one predictable location. Start on time and end at minute 28 with a one-paragraph handoff. What we're doing next, by when, and where it will live. Keep the camera frame steady, the mic clean, and the background simple. You don't need expensive gear. You need repetition. Order on screen lowers the appetite to test you because ordered people are harder to blame. Protect access, not just feelings. It's kind to be available. It's fair to be reliable. You achieve reliability by ranking access. Inner circle. Faster replies and one live slot per week. Standard circle. Replies in the window and async reviews. Outer circle. Polite delays and no live time. Say it once in onboarding, then prove it with behavior. If someone tries to climb circles without paying the price or matching the standard, you route, not rage. Calm voice, hard terms. Machiavelli warned that fortune shifts and praised those who match action to the moment without losing the core. I hold it to be true that fortune is the arbiter of half our actions, but that she still leaves us to direct the other half. Your core is cadence and consequence. You can flex tactics, tools, sequence, even the offer, without flexing your windows, your corridor, or your exit lines. Adapt the surface. Protect the state. Leave this affirmation below. Affirmation. Calm cadence, priced speed, clean exits. Clean exits are how you prevent disrespect from leaking into next week. When you finish, you don't write, "Let me know if you need anything." That sentence is an open border. You close with 5 lines. What shipped, where it lives, who owns next, the archive date, and the path to the next paid block. If they return later with one quick tweak, you point to the exit note and the changelog. You are not cold. You are complete. Completion protects your name and your schedule more effectively than any speech. Corrections beat apologies. Apologies can be kind once. As a habit, they invite debates about your worth. Corrections teach structure. We're over time. The next call stays inside 30. That request is outside scope, pricing attached. Work pauses until payment clears. Short lines create long memory. After 2 or 3 cycles, even tough rooms stop testing because tests stopped paying. Guard mornings. Disrespect multiplies when you donate your sharpest hour to other people's alarms. Build first, then read. If an ask truly merits the morning, it meets the rush policy. Most emergencies dissolve when they meet a price and a clock. This single shift hardens your day so public drama can't tear it open. Treat your day like a ledger. At closing time, write 2 lines. Promises made. Promises kept. If a promise moved, write the new date and notify before sleep. This 5-minute ritual eliminates silent debt, the invisible load that keeps you scrolling and second-guessing. A clean ledger gives you a clean face in the morning, and a calm face combined with hard terms is the most intimidating energy in any room. If disrespect goes public, resist theater. Move the thread from adjectives to timestamps. We agreed on A, B, C, delivered on date. Files at location. Extras follow second block on start date. People side with receipts. Receipts require no volume and survive screenshots. You win without shouting because your map is boring and exact. You don't fix people. You fix paths. You don't win debates. You win calendars. Disrespect wants you emotional because emotions are soft ground. Your counter is a ground made of windows, corridors, prices, and exits. Hold that ground and the room will either sharpen or leave. Either outcome frees your attention for the work that builds your name. Disrespect is a stress test. It checks whether you run on moods or on maps. If you answer with a speech, you enter their frame. If you answer with a protocol, they have to enter yours. The move is simple. Tighten corridors, price access, shorten calls, log change, and close exits. You are not trying to win arguments. You are trying to win calendars. Treat access like inventory. Most disrespect hides in quick calls, off-hour pings, and side door DMs. Set reply windows and publish them once. 2 or 3 times a day, you process everything there. No guilt notes, no nervous emojis. Outside the window, the message waits, or it routes to the calendar. If speed is truly needed, speed has a price. Your brain stops negotiating hundreds of tiny decisions because the rule decides for you. Run a one-pass reset when patterns slip. If you've been answering at midnight, letting extras slide, and eating overtime with a smile, don't drip out corrections. Send one clean message with new hours, a revision cap, where edits live, late fee policy, and the effective date. Then behave as if it always existed. Resistance spikes, then fades. The rule holds. You win back attention without starting a war of paragraphs. Machiavelli wrote, "I have repeatedly noted that the good or bad fortune of men depends on whether their methods of acting accord with the character of the times. Your times are the present room, their pace, your pipeline, the project's urgency. Adapt tactics, tone, tempo, tool, without touching the backbone of your method. Windows, corridors, prices, exits. This is how you stay flexible without becoming soft." Drop this affirmation in the comments. I route disrespect into rules and let the rules answer. Lead with outcomes, not recipes. When someone jabs, don't litigate tone. Timestamp the next result. Delivery Wednesday 16, aired in the shared folder. Review window closes Friday. People who hunt drama hate clocks and folders. Make the clock and folder the center of the conversation, and the drama has nowhere to sit. If they keep pushing feelings, you keep posting dates. Make calls small and predictable. Live time is the most expensive asset you own, so cap calls at 30 minutes and end with a handoff sentence. What's happening, by when, where it lives, who owns next. If the other side tries to reopen, route to the calendar or the doc. Most disrespect dissolves when there's nowhere to wander. Build a visible ledger. Keep 2 lists, committed, this week with dates, and queued, approved extras with start dates and prices. Share read-only. When someone says, "Can you squeeze this?" you point at committed, then at their slot in queued. That pointer replaces a debate. Debates drain attention. Pointers conserve it. Price behavior, not just features. Underpricing invites access theft. Late night pings. Just one more thing. And weekend grabs. Tie money to speed and touch. Base tier. Async reviews. Replies in the window. 2 revisions. Premium. Weekly call. Accelerated replies. Limited off-hours escalation. Rush and weekend exist, but by exception, and at a rate that protects delivery. When speed costs, fake emergencies die. Real ones fund themselves. Set a corridor for every request. Updates in DMs, edits in the doc, files in the folder, calls on the calendar, money on the invoice. When someone tries to run scope through voice notes or text walls, you don't argue, you route. Please add this to the doc. I'll review in the window. If they jump the corridor twice, start the ladder. Reminder, reduced access, pause, clean exit. The ladder is mercy because it replaces mood with steps. Machiavelli wrote, "A people is wiser and more constant than a prince." Read it like this. Crowds and teams settle when rules are plain and public. When your terms are transparent, what's included, what's not, how, extras move when archives happen. Most people self-correct because the system is obvious. and the costs are visible. Guard mornings like capital. If disrespect has a favorite hour, it's your sharpest one. Build first, then read. If a request truly needs the morning, it goes through rush policy. Otherwise, it waits for the window. This single guardrail raises the quality of your work and lowers the temperature of your day. Use receipts, not speeches. After each delivery, post one paragraph. What shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, path to the next paid block. If someone returns with one small tweak, you attach the receipt and the change log. You're not cold, you're complete. Completion is how you end disrespect without a fight. Corrections beat apologies. We're over time. Next call stays inside 30. Out of scope, pricing attached. Invoice outstanding, work pauses. Short lines, calm tone, hard terms. After 2 or 3 cycles, even chronic testers stop testing because tests stopped paying. That is respect earned by repetition, not by volume. Separate circles, so role switching doesn't fog judgment. Work lives in projects and calendars. Friends live after hours. Family has a clear emergency path. When a business ask lands in your private channel, redirect once. When a friend tries to unload in your build block, offer a time after 6. Clean circles create clear choices. Mixed circles create constant guilt. Leave this affirmation below. Calm voice, firm terms, results on schedule. Keep your metrics boring and honest. Promises made, promises kept. Promises rescheduled by written agreement. Percent of extras billed, and build hours protected. If one dips, you adjust a rule, not a mood. Shrink scope, reassert the corridor, or move calls. Numbers erase gaslighting, including the kind you do to yourself. When disrespect goes public, don't perform. Move the thread from adjectives to timestamps. State what was agreed, what was delivered, where it lives, and how new work starts. The room will always side with receipts over rhetoric. Receipts survive screenshots, speeches don't. End the week with a one-pass reset. Find leaks, off-hour replies, unpaid extras, wandering calls. Fix once, update signature, template, rate card, and enforce. You are not punishing, you are maintaining. States that maintain stay calm. Calendars that maintain stay profitable. Disrespect thrives where routes are missing. If you let every message, mood, and quick check-in land wherever it wants, people will price you like public space. The counter is not a louder voice. It's a visible map that makes drift unprofitable. You keep your cadence, and the room either adapts or exits. Begin by turning heat into sequence. When someone jabs at your work or talks down your timeline, don't narrate the insult. Move the thread to 3 facts: what ships, by what date, and where it lives. Delivery. Wednesday 16, VAS, files in the shared folder. Review window closes Friday. The tone they use is their problem. The clock you set is the system. People who plan to win by mood tend to fall quiet when a calendar appears. Next, widen the gap between inputs and reactions with reply windows. Choose 2 or 3 times you reply and publish them once. Outside those windows, you don't explain delay. You demonstrate order by answering on schedule. If someone claims everything is urgent, you point to the rush path with a price. If they need live time, you route them to your calendar days. Predictable reply rhythm converts argument into logistics. Logistics respect your time because logistics cost time. Disrespect often hides as one more tweak. Stop letting it hide. Keep a living change log where every new request gets a date, cost, and scheduled start. When a small tweak appears after handoff, you paste the line from the log and the start date for the second block. No anger, no debate, just the path. When the path is boring and public, most testers stop testing. One-pass resets beat slow fights. If your boundaries have been leaking, off-hour replies, extras sneaking in, calls spilling over, don't patch with 10 gentle notes. Send one clean reset, hours, revision limits, where edits live, late fee policy, archive cadence, and effective date. Then behave like it is already law. There will be noise for a week and peace for a year. People protest the first enforcement. They respect the second. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I route chaos into corridors and let the corridor answer. Protect access like inventory. Unlimited DMs, unlimited calls, and open weekends are not kindness. They are capacity leaks. Tie access to tiers. Base tier, async reviews, replies in the window, 2 revisions. Premium, weekly call, faster replies, limited off-hours escalation. Rush and weekend, by exception, at a price that protects quality. When someone says, just 5 minutes, you're not rude, you're exact. Book a slot, live calls stay inside 30. Structure trains the room without you raising your voice. Machiavelli wrote, I have repeatedly noted that the good or bad fortune of men depends on whether their methods of acting accord with the character of the times. The times change. Your core doesn't. You can flex tone and tooling without bending your windows, your corridor, or your exit lines. Adapt the surface. Defend the spine. Build receipts into every handoff. End live calls at minute 28 with one paragraph. What we're doing, by when, where it lives, who owns next. Post the same paragraph into the thread. If a dispute pops up later, documentation beats memory. Receipts are the quietest way to turn disrespect into compliance because they remove theater and leave timestamps. Price behavior, not just features. Underpricing attracts boundary tests. Late-night pings, free extras, just this once calls. Your number tells the truth about access. If they want speed, that's a tier. If they want weekends, that's a rate. If they want you to break your build block, that's a treaty with a start, end, and one sentence that the exception does not change policy. Treaties prevent one time from becoming the new normal. Keep circles separate so role switching doesn't fog judgment. Work lives in project threads and calendars. Friends live after hours. Family has an emergency route. When circles cross, you redirect once. Please drop that in the doc. I'll review in the window. People who respect your circles respect your cognition. Those who don't will always cost more than they pay. Corrections beat apologies. We're over time. Next call stays inside 30. That request is outside scope. Pricing attached. Work pauses until payment clears. Short lines, calm tone, hard terms. After a few cycles, even stubborn rooms stop pressing, because pressing no longer pays. The point isn't to win personalities. It's to keep roads clear so results move. Write like a governor, not a guest. Subject lines that decide. Dated promises. Links to the latest version. If you must send a long message, lead with the decision, the date, and the location. Then add context below. This protects you from tone traps and keeps everyone operating on the same facts. Disrespect loves vagueness. Clarity leaves it no air. Guard mornings. Build first, then read. If something truly merits the morning, it meets rush policy. Most emergencies evaporate when they meet a price and a clock. Your sharpest hour funds all other hours. Stop donating it to noise. When you control the morning, the rest of the day tends to respect you. Machiavelli wrote, "There is no disgrace in not observing promises wrung from you by force." Translated for modern work. Stop honoring commitments that were coerced, like scope accepted in a panic or timelines agreed under pressure. Renegotiate in writing to terms that protect delivery, then proceed. Legibility over guilt. Leave this affirmation below. Calm voice, firm terms, results on schedule. End your day with a 2-line ledger. Promises made, promises kept. If a promise moved, write the new date and notify before you sleep. This removes silent debt, the invisible load that keeps you doom-scrolling and over-explaining. A clean ledger gives you a clean face tomorrow. At scale, that is your reputation. Calm face, hard terms, proof on a date. Disrespect survives on ambiguity. It sneaks in through vague scope, endless quick calls and friendly messages that arrive outside your hours and expect inside your brain speed. The antidote is not more emotion. It's clearer roots. Roots make drift expensive and respect cheap. When your day runs on corridors, DMs for updates, docs for edits, folders for files, calendar for live time, invoices for money, people learn the path or pay the price. That is how you stop performing and start governing. Begin with posture before policy. Posture is what your behavior teaches without words, replies in set windows, calls capped by the clock, files named with dates, handoffs written the moment you end a call. Policy is what you write. Posture is what you repeat. If posture contradicts policy, if you answer at midnight while preaching boundaries, people will believe posture. So lock posture first. A calm rhythm defeats loud disrespect because rhythm refuses to speed up for moods. When pressure spikes, public blame, late change, urgent weekend pings, move from narrative to ledger. Narrative is who felt what. Ledger is who did what, by when, and where it lives. Post the line from your changelog, the new date, the link to the latest version, and who owns next. Close with the archive date and the door to the next paid block. The more the thread demands feelings, the more you feed it facts. Rooms side with receipts, because receipts travel better than speeches. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I replace mood with map, and the map repeats. Run a one-pass reset whenever decay spreads. Decay looks like open DMs doing scope, calls drifting past the half hour, unpaid extras, and you helping your way into resentment. One pass means one message that changes hours, revisins, where edits live, late fee, archive cadence, and effective date. Then you behave as if it always existed. You are not writing an essay on fairness, you are changing the mechanics. After a week of noise comes a year of quiet. Quiet is the dividend of decisive resets. Escalation ladders protect both sides from drama. First step, written reminder of terms. Second, reduced access. Async only, slower replies, no live calls. Third, pause work until alignment returns. Fourth, clean exit that lists what shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, and the path to the next paid block. Ladders are merciful because they make consequences predictable. Predictability is respect in practice. Use price to defend attention. Underpricing attracts boundary tests. Over-explaining attracts debates. Tie money to access and speed so your decisions live on a card, not in your adrenaline. Base tier covers outcomes with replies inside your window and 2 revisions. Premium tier buys faster replies and a weekly call. Rush and weekend support exist as a clearly priced exception. When speed is scarce and expensive, fake emergencies die before they reach your morning. Make live time small and surgical. Calls live on 2 days and end at minute 28 with a written handoff. What we're doing, by when, where it lives, who owns next. If new ideas appear after the handoff, they get a slot or a line in the changelog. You are not being cold. You are building in public. Public building starves disrespect because it has nowhere to hide. Machiavelli wrote, "In all their actions, even in those which are matters of necessity rather than choice, Prudent men will endeavor so to conduct themselves as to conciliate goodwill. Apply this by turning forced corrections into orderly updates. New hours presented as a service to delivery. New revision limits framed as quality control. New archive cadence framed as protection for both sides. When change is inevitable, package it as design, not apology. Build a visible ledger that kills, "Can you squeeze it in today?" The committed column shows what ships this week with dates. The queued column shows approved extras with start dates and prices. Share it read-only. When someone pushes, you point. No tone, just sequence. Pointers replace fights. Fights burn time. Sequence makes time. Protect circles to prevent cognitive melt. Work lives in project threads and calendars. Friends live after hours. Family has one emergency route. If a business ask lands in your private channel, you redirect once. If a friend tries to unload in your build block, you offer a time after 6. This is not arrogance. It's quality control. Role-switching fatigue is where most boundary slips happen. Keep roles in lanes so your decisions stay sharp. Leave this affirmation below. Calm voice, hard terms, proof on a date. Do not let polite be your default defense. Machiavelli warned that humility can fail against insolent actors. You shall often find that humility is not merely of no service to you, but is even hurtful, especially when used in dealing with insolent men. In practice, that means stop trying to soften your way out of chaos. Clarity ends more fights than charm ever will. Design your environment to obey your rules. Put devices on Do Not Disturb during build windows. Add calendar buffers so you can write handoffs before the next call. Autofile project mail into folders so you review in batches, not dopamine drips. Keep a template stack. Proposal, changelog, exit note, late fee, rush policy, naming rule. The less you improvise, the less they can push. The more you repeat, the more they align. Run weekly maintenance like a small state. Inspect your 5 numbers. Promises made, promises kept. Promises rescheduled by written agreement. Percent of extras billed, build hours protected. If one dips, change a rule, not a mood. Shrink scope, move calls, repost the rate card, or reassert the corridor. Metrics prevent self-gaslighting. You do not need to feel in control when your dashboard proves you are. If disrespect goes public, never perform. Anchor the thread to timestamps, not adjectives. What was agreed, what was delivered, where it lives, what the next paid step is. Attach the receipt. Invite the next step through the corridor. Screenshots favor the person who writes like a clerk of the court. Be that clerk. Courts beat crowds. Close every delivery with a clean exit. 5 lines always. What shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, path to the next paid block. Then stop writing. When they return with one tiny tweak, you route it to the next block with a start date and a price. Completion is kindness to your future self. In strong systems, kindness to your future self becomes kindness to every partner who depends on your schedule. The strongest response to disrespect is not rage, it is routine. Routine makes you unrushable, unconfusable, and unguiltable on schedule. By now, your map is clear. Reply windows, corridors for every request, priced speed, one-pass resets, and clean exits. The final move is to make these rules endure when pressure peaks, when someone goes public, when cash is thin, when a partner slips, when the tool breaks. Endurance turns posture into power. Begin with pressure drills. Write 3 short scripts you can send without thinking when stress hits. Delay script. Change logged. New delivery Friday 16 now. Latest file at the shared link. Review window closes Monday. Scope script. This request is outside the signed scope. adding it to the second block with start date and estimate attached. Payment script. Invoice outstanding. Work pauses. We resume on receipt. Keep them in a clipboard. Drills keep you from writing essays when you need decisions. Convert every live moment into a receipt before you leave the room. Calls end at minute 28 with a one-paragraph note. What's happening? By when? Where it lives? Who owns next? Post it in the thread. If a dispute appears later, the receipt beats memory. Screenshots favor clerks, not performers. Be the clerk who closes loops. Use your rate card as a shield, not a pitch. When someone tries to pull you into an urgent out-of-window call, you do not argue about fairness. You point to the card. Base tier stays async inside your windows. Premium buys faster replies and a weekly call. Rush and weekend rates exist by exception with a price that protects quality. When a system is public, people self-correct. Chaos hates price tags. Keep your circles hard and your tone warm. Work lives in project threads and calendars. Friends live after hours. Family has a clear emergency path. When a business ask lands in your private channel, redirect once. When a friend tries to unload during the build block, offer a time after 6. Warmth is how you speak. Hardness is how you schedule. The mix earns respect because it protects results without becoming cruel. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect access. I ship on a date. I let receipts speak. Build an outcomes ledger you update daily. 2 columns. Committed, this week with dates, and queued, approved extras with start dates and prices. Share read only. When someone asks you to, just squeeze it. You point to committed, then to their slot and queued. That single pointer saves 20 minutes of argument and 2 hours of resentment. Pointers are your quiet power. Reduce the room's appetite to test you by making appearances do the talking. Exact file names with dates. One link that always holds the latest. Version. Camera frame steady, mic clean, background simple. Start on time, end on time. Speak in one-sentence decisions. People don't test edges that look sharp. Sharpness comes from repetition, not gear. Make generosity safe by keeping it inside the frame. Add a tiny polish after delivery or a quick loom that prevents confusion, but only for partners who respected the map, and only after the scope is complete. If you want to do free, do it deliberately, and after the invoice clears. Free inside the frame builds reputation. Free instead of the frame builds contempt. Write treaties when you must bend. A treaty has a start and end date, a price, and one line that the exception does not change policy. If you open the gate for a good reason, launch week, emergency migration, you close it with paper. Treaties let you adapt without dissolving. Without treaties, just this once becomes the new law. Machiavelli wrote, "Without doubt, ferocious and disordered men are much weaker than timid and ordered ones. For order chases fear from men, and disorder lessens ferocity." Read this as a law for work. Ordered systems beat loud energy over time. Keep order visible and repeatable, and disrespect loses its weapon, your attention. Establish a maintenance hour each week. Look for leaks, off-hour replies, extras that slipped in, calls that drifted, invoices not enforced. Fix once with structure, not speeches. Update the signature, refresh the rate card, tighten the template, restate the corridor. Then hold. States that maintain stay calm. Calendars that maintain stay profitable. Reward the behavior you want with access, not flattery. Faster previews for partners who respect windows. Priority slots for teammates who deliver clean handoffs. Early renewals for clients who close loops. Culture is set by what you reward, not what you write. Reward clarity, and your days get lighter. Reward charm, and your days get expensive. Leave this affirmation below. Calm voice, hard terms, proof on a date. When blame goes public, move the thread to evidence. Avoid adjectives. Post the agreed scope line, the delivery timestamp, the file link, and the exit note. Then point to the path for extras. You're not dodging emotion. You are keeping emotion from driving the car. Cars driven by records arrive. Cars driven by feelings spin. Guard your mornings like a treasury. Build first, then read. If a request truly belongs in the morning, it meets rush policy. Most emergencies die when they meet price and clock at the gate. The remaining few pay for themselves and deserve your best hours. Scale posture before you scale people. Standardize naming, handoffs, change logs, exit notes, and meeting caps. Train one person at a time to run the same map. If you add headcount to chaos, you scale chaos. If you add headcount to rails, you scale reliability. Machiavelli wrote, "Men work either from necessity or from choice, and it is seen that virtue is greater where choice has less authority." Give your future self less choice where you tend to leak, preset windows, fixed exits, visible ladders, so necessity carries you through the hard days. Your best self appears when the rails decide. In the end, you don't conquer disrespect by hunting nicer rooms. You conquer it by making your space expensive to disrespect. Clear windows, narrow corridors, priced speed, one-pass resets, clean exits, corrections instead of apologies, receipts instead of speeches. Hold this long enough and the room will change around you. The loud will leave. The exact will stay. Your time will feel heavier and your days lighter. That is the darkest lesson. Calm routine, enforced quietly, outlasts every performance.